going on, everybody? It is your boy Benjamin Gibby here, back with a brand new exciting video, and today I'm going to be telling you guys what is wrong with my $1,000 1999 Lexus LS400 with 270,000 miles. Without further ado, let's get into this video. This is my 1999 LS400 with a 4.0 liter V8 engine producing 290 horsepower. It's a pretty great car aside from the fact that it has a lot of problems. Today's video, I'm going to be going over those problems with you guys. But before I get into this video, guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It really helps support the channel. And we're at 20 subscribers now, and I'm really just humbled by the fact that I have 20 subscribers. So anyways, let's get into this video. So we're going to be going over the problems with my car. There's a lot. First things first, we got our fender rust right here. You know, really not that bad. I put some like rust inhibitor on this. That's why it's all black and the paint looks bad. Anyways, and then there's more corrosion here. It's really not that big of a deal. Over the summer, I will be doing Bondo work on that. So if you guys want to see me repair the rust in this car, make sure you stay tuned for that video. It's going to be a great one. Second thing, and this is where it starts to get a little deep. As you can see here, this door is misaligned. And if we can put pieces together, two and two together, there is like paint chipping here, which probably means this car was broken into at some point, whether that's the previous owner left their keys in the car or it was stolen, I don't know. But it's pretty, you know, it supports the fact that this might have been broken in with a crowbar, but we're also gonna fix that too. Aside from that, we also have like a pretty big gap here. It might just be the door hinges. I'm really not so sure. And that leads me to my next point, which is the paint. Paint overall is like pretty good. Of course, you have some chipping paint. I think this is just the clear coat chipping off, and then obviously some scratches here and there. There's a couple of dings in the door, but really it's not that big of a deal. Like, I've seen worse. In fact, my Miata was probably in worse condition than this car. Because the paint isn't that bad for being 30 years old. We did go off-roading for the intro, so it is a little dirty. And also, I bought bolts for my license plate to get this together, but it is so freaking cold that I've not been able to fix that. Here's probably the most serious part of this video, and that is the fender rust right there. Look at that. This is really bad, and it's getting worse by the day, but we have this whole panel is pretty much rotted out. I don't know how I'm going to deal with this. I think if I sand down this rust, cut it out, and then put some like fiberglass in there, I think that will solve my problem. It'll just take a lot of work, but I really want to get this car looking like it did right out of the Toyota factory. Here we have some more corrosion. This is not as bad as the other side. But of course, all of this is bubbling up, so that means that there's probably some corrosion on the other side of the body panel, and that's why it's like resurfacing. So, worst case scenario, we would have to re-weld the body panel. I went to a pick apart lot the other day to look for a rust-free body panel, but even if I could get a hold of a body panel, I would have to weld it regardless. And it is aluminum, and aluminum is pretty hard to weld. And it's not something you could do with like a flux core welder just because it's not powerful enough. All right, let's move on to the front of this car. This is probably honestly the best looking part of this car, just because there's really nothing wrong except for the engine. I'll go into that in a bit, but this is what the car looks like. I really love this car. It drives great. Honestly, it feels like brand new, just as it did when it came out of the Lexus Toyota factory. And it is so comfortable. But yeah, this is the front of the car, and that leads me into the next thing, which is the engine. This is a 4.0 liter 1UZ FE with variable valve timing. It is a pretty big engine, and it's nice and warm. And there's only one major problem with this engine. It has a valve cover gasket leak, which means that I can't show you, but the valve cover of the engine, there's a gasket that protects anything from getting out, and that means that oil is leaking out of my car. Really not that big of a deal. It is something I'm gonna fix. I'm gonna have to fix somewhere along the line. Other than that, the engine condition is fairly good, except for the fact that I have to use a piece of wood to keep the bonnet up. And I don't know what that ticking sound is. It might just be my timing belt. It might be like lifter tick or something. That's a problem I have with the Miata. I really don't know much about that. There is some rust on the hood I'm noticing. Probably just from you driving, and then rocks come up, chip the hood, and then it just gets a little spot rust. There's a dog over there. That's pretty much it for the exterior. Let's go on into the interior and show you what's wrong. So we are here inside of the car. It is freezing cold. It's actually 19 degrees outside. It honestly feels colder than that, but let's go over the problems with the interior. Number one, these vents don't work, which makes sense as this car does have 274,000 miles. It also doesn't have a radio. It's really unfortunate. I bought an OEM one and now I'm using a Bluetooth speaker to play my music, which is all nice and dandy, except it's kind of quiet. And it's actually kind of unfortunate because I've heard a lot of great things about the Lexus LS400 stereo system. So yeah, so these vents do not work. I have a feeling that's a common problem with these cars. Yeah, other than that, the interior is pretty great for being 20 years old. The seats, you know, they've seen better days. The leather isn't in the best condition, especially the rear seats. I have some tearing back there, and I also have just some random stuff back there. But honestly, it could be a lot worse. We have all of our OEM cigarette lighters. However, this one does not work. I don't know why. It's probably a fuse. My key fob snapped off. I have it glued on right now. It's barely working, unfortunately. And then that's pretty much it for the front of the car and the back of the car. Other than that, it's really in great condition. Obviously, you have some cracking leather, but all of these still work. And there we have our Subaru Sandbar. Look at that. This is a Matchbox car that I found at Target the other day, and I just thought it was super cool, and I had to pick it up because honestly, I love key trucks. Key trucks are one of my realistic dream cars, and I would like to buy one sometime within my professional career because they're going up in value. This is my aftermarket phone holder. I actually bought a magnetic adhesive one, and I thought it was pretty good until the adhesive came off. I have a feeling this is probably just because it was really cold, but I spent about the same money on both of these, and I don't know, you guys tell me which one looks better. I honestly like this one better for different reasons, because you can pull this out and then you just set your phone on here and it automatically closes. I think that's really cool, and it has an adjustable arm. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the overview of the car. This is me going over everything wrong with this car. There is a lot I plan to fix on this vehicle, and if you guys want to see me do that, if you guys want to watch the build process of this LS400, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my future uploads. With that being said, I will see you guys in my next video.